So guys, we are starting with AWS Cloud Computing. So this is the very first class. In this session, we are going to start with the very basics of cloud computing and later on introduction to AWS. So you might have heard about AWS. Now, AWS is a very popular name in the field of cloud computing, and AWS is a cloud platform and it stands for Amazon Web Services, right? As you know, the cloud computing is for every use these days, especially in the field of IT. Even all major companies either migrated their physical infrastructure over the cloud, or they are in the process to do so. So, and such kind of changes are being seen because of advantages of cloud computing. So we'll discuss about advantages of cloud computing or the benefits of the cloud computing very first of all. It means here one thing is very clear. The cloud computing is now necessary to learn for every IT professional or people somehow connected with the cloud computing. Nowadays, cloud computing is being used in almost every field. So some good example we can take, for example, education, IT, infrastructure, software development, entertainment industry, e-commerce, medical field, research and development, and many other fields we can mention here. But in addition, with the help of cloud computing, it would be easier for us to implement and use of field like artificial intelligence, machine learning, where huge data is required. In AWS, we have number of specific services, right? So this statement is straightforward, explains that AWS is significant to start your career in artificial intelligence and machine learning. Okay, so now it's time to just start. So we need to start in cloud computing with AWS, and our training is focused on AWS cloud computing, its architecture, its operation and skills to manage, essential skills to manage it professionally. So first of all, we will study about and basic of cloud computing, its feature, the most important benefits and advantages of cloud computing. And next, we will learn about AWS service model, for example, infrastructure of as a service, platform as a service, and a software as a service. So definitely we'll talk about the model, right? And later we have to study about the AWS architecture model. And in this, we will discuss about public, private, and hybrid cloud. And later on, we will start working on AWS. But in order to start this training, we hope you would reasonable to fulfill minimum requirement to understand this training nicely. So AWS sets some prerequisites to understand the training. For example, you must have a understanding about, yeah, this slide is okay. So you must have some understanding about TCP/IP networking. And if you know the basics of networking or the basics of Linux, it will be beneficial for us. You must have some idea about Linux. I hope you are good in Linux or you have some idea about. So, but if you are new for Linux and you say, sir, I have no knowledge about the Linux, I'll say no worry. So we will take things step by step from scratch. No issue. So no issue, Ashutosh. I'll tell you about all these things, right? Yes, I do understand, Ashutosh. Okay, you might have seen the syllabus of this training. Yes or no? Yeah. So you must have seen that I think it's available on LMS, and then we'll start it, right? And how many of you have AWS account? Just say yes or no. AWS account. Perfect. Good. Except few ones, almost everyone has. So this is a very simple process to just register your free tier account. In free tier account, this is, I think, the very simple process. You just open AWS Management Console and just register for free tier account. For that, you need basically the credit card or debit card to just open your account. So it's a very easy process. By the way, guys, without wasting time, Now I'm just going to start the basics of the cloud computing and the definition of the cloud computing, shall we? No, Ashutosh, it won't make much difference. You please follow me, and step by step, I think you will easily understand. Right? Great, guys. So here our journey starts. We are starting with the cloud computing. This is not a big thing. Everybody knows what is the cloud computing, but by definition, I think you should be much precise, right? So I'm just giving a one chance for you people to just write what you think about the cloud computing, how you could explain what is the cloud computing. So please do write your one-line definition about cloud computing, means how you would explain what is the cloud computing. Please do write. To store, provide services through internet. Okay, Ashutosh. Just like IoT, right? It's like IoT. Okay. Because every person would have its own definition. So that's why I'm just asking you to just write one-line definition about cloud computing. How you would explain what is the cloud computing. Okay, I have from Sainath, sorry. To store X data from different places globally. Okay. Nageshwar is writing infrastructure as a service. Okay. MBA. Mobile. Right. Storing, managing information in server. Okay. Kamble is writing access remote PC switch in another location anytime. Yes, perfect. And Pramod, cloud is sophisticated infrastructure service, provide IT and other services on globally instantly. Okay, Hiren is writing the shifting physical infrastructure to cloud. So you are talking about migration. And cloud computing provides a DB storage. Cloud is most like in the server of physical existence. Like, okay. Sivaram transform IT infrastructure into utility. Utility plug into infrastructure via internet and use the computer resources without installing and maintaining them on premises, right? It is a service provided through internet to user, very perfect. Avaru, Bharati, yes. Saurabh, virtual infrastructure, storage, computing, networking, yes. Ajit Singh, technology to ease customers' experience for using IT resources via internet. Perfect. Shivhari, storing and accessing the data remote servers that hosted on internet instead of local computer. Yes, perfect. This also is correct. So we have many definitions, we have many explanations. It depends how you are explaining this cloud computing. The one thing is very clear. Jessizen is writing managing information without direct active management. Okay, very typical definition. Jessizen, I'm just speaking your name correctly. Right, thank you. Somnath, on demand availability on a computer system resources, data storage. Wow, great. So guys, I got a very good idea, and you explained what you think about cloud computing. So let me explain you. So in the easiest manner, or in the easiest term, and cloud computing defines storing and accessing data and programs over the internet from a remote location. In other words, a cloud computing term used for the delivery of hosted services over the cloud. What I'm saying, delivery of hosted services over the internet, over the internet. Means if you're hosting any services and using it over the internet, so that is termed as cloud, right? So the cloud can offer you storage service, cloud can offer you compute service, cloud can offer you some database service, right? Security service. So you can have any kind of a service using internet, but the internet is the most common component in cloud. So without internet, cloud is not existing. So cloud computing by AWS definition refers to the on-demand delivery of IT resources and application via the internet with pay-as-you-go pricing model. So as per the pay-as-you-go pricing model, AWS charges on per hour basis. It depends, means you are charging, means you are using the resources for 1 hour, 2 hour, for a month, for a 2 month, but you are paying on a per hour basis. So we have other models also, but I'm just taking a very standard model, per hour basis. So let's say if you have a resources and you are using for 2 hours, so AWS will charge only for those 2 hours. So now this way you can control billing amount. If services are not required, you can stop those resources anytime and you will pay only for the 2 hours, right? I'm giving an example here. So we will see later on how we can explain. But before that, so what is a hosted and cloud services? Correct? So if you want, I can share this slide with you. Right? So I'll not consume much time on theory part. I'll try to, but this is the very first class. I should explain you the benefits of cloud computing. So I'll take a little while to just explain this. You please be with me and just understand. So cloud computing is a type of internet-based computing where you can deliver IT infrastructure and software application related services. However, before arrival of cloud computing, you used to deliver the software application service from your own physical data centers, but the time has changed. But right now I'm talking about what is the cloud computing? Hosted services over the internet. But what are the hosted services? So in this technology, in the hosted services, you configure and maintain infrastructure and a software application at your own environment, in your own data center, or at the service provider premises, right? And access of these services to your end users are often provided through a direct connection. And this can require internet connectivity. So if you want to understand in a more easy way, let's say you have a data center and you are the owner of that data center. You are managing that data center, right? And you are maintaining that data center, but through data center, you are offering your services to your client. Those clients could be in-house and those clients could be in the internet, but you are offering all these services from your data center. So that kind of technology, that kind of offering comes under hosted services, but the time has changed. Now you are offering all these services like compute services, storage services, and networking services. All you are providing through cloud provider end. You are not maintaining any data center. You are not managing your own data center. There is no need. Perfectly. So in such platforms, you do not require any physical servers and infrastructure to run applications. So cloud computing serves you a very simple way of access of servers, databases, storages, and other set of application services over the internet. So in brief, you can say hosted services over the internet is known as cloud computing. I think this definition is clear to everyone. Correct? So The next term, I would like to start here, the benefits of cloud computing. So we have unlimited benefits of cloud computing because we have less time. So we are focusing on some main points here, right? So we are not actually expanding this chapter. So we will focus what are the basic benefits of cloud computing. So today we see number of cloud computing platforms available with us. We have AWS, we have Google Cloud, we have MS Azure, we have VM data centers, IBM data centers, right? Means cloud. They are providing the cloud services. So these days we have n number of cloud providers, but we are focusing right on some major, just like AWS. AWS is the number one because of advantages, because of AWS global infrastructure. Because if you're just comparing infrastructure of cloud provider, AWS is number one these days. So guys, we are focusing on AWS. So I was saying the small businesses, medium businesses, even the large businesses houses find some significant benefits to switch on cloud because of its less cost, high availability, and easy deployment of services. So you find everything easy. How it is easy, that we are just going to discuss here. So one by one, we will pick all these topics and we'll study. Remember, the cloud computing is not a single piece of technology, first of all, and hence we cannot limit its benefits. So we have large number of benefits. So in this topic, you would see different kind of cloud computing, such as SaaS, PaaS, or infrastructure as service, which is called IaaS. Almost every organization wants to use a cloud computing benefits either partially or fully. And according to one survey, we have noticed that the survey was done by Forrester organization. So it is estimated that by end of this year, the cloud computing can touch $200 billion business. My goodness, this is a big figure. So even in this pandemic, so you see, this is the only field which is regularly being increased. And a big player of cloud computing like Amazon, Intel, Microsoft, HP, Alibaba. So these basically the vendors are making huge investment in cloud computing. And Amazon Web Services is a public cloud computing environment, right? Or you can say it's a public cloud platform. And it is based on pay-as-you-go model. So we have number of advantages. So I'm just going to take one by one. I think up till here, everything is clear. My voice is clear. The screen also is clear. So we are just going to start with the flexibility, correct? Wow. Great, great. My voice is clear, of course, right? I was seeing actually some fluctuation, that's why I'm asking you. Okay, guys. First of all, we'll talk about flexibility. What is the flexibility in cloud computing? So cloud computing is the best for businesses where you see a regular change in resource requirement and a fluctuation demand or the fluctuation bandwidth of demand. And according to resources, so it can be scaled up or scaled down anytime. Means if it is needed, you can increase number of instances. When I say instances, instance means virtual machine on cloud, or you can say virtual machine. So sometimes I can use this term instance. Instance means virtual machine. So I'm saying that according to the resources, we can scale up or scale down number of EC2 instances as per your requirement. If you need, you can increase number of virtual machines, and if you don't, so you can decrease number of instances very quickly without any major efforts. And to scale and scale down to meet the requirement, it's a matter of few seconds or few minutes with cloud administrative knowledge. So you must have some knowledge about cloud, so how you can increase or decrease number of instances. So it can be done very easily. In addition, AWS enables you to select resources of your own choice. For example, you can choose any operating system. You can work on Linux operating system. You can work on Mac operating system, Windows Server operating system, right? Secondly, you can choose any programming language platform, like you can work on Java, Ruby, Python, Node.js, blah, blah, blah. But all major and popular languages are available. So you can choose any program language. Secondly, you can work on any sort of database. So we have almost every database engine available on this cloud platform. So you have a complete liberty to select any database you are interested in, number one. Second is a web application platform. You can work on any web application platform and other services you require. So this is very clear. So if you are working on this cloud environment, you can choose any operating system, any programming language, any database, or any web application platform. So this is called the flexibility, right? Second is I'm taking controlled capital expenditure. This is a major point because you are saving your money while you are using cloud computing, that you don't get this benefit on your physical data center. Think about an old and traditional way to run IT services. You do require servers, storages, routers, switches, cables, connectors, database servers, DNS servers, Active Directory servers, blah, blah, blah. So in order to run your own physical data center, you need all these things. An overall cost of your infrastructure was too high because you are creating all such things in your own data center. But the time has been changed. To cut down the cost of your existing physical infrastructure, cloud provides an excellent opportunity. And you can now choose AWS services, which simply based on pay-as-you-go pricing model. And you can enjoy the service model, right? So you will use the resources and you will pay the service, that's all. So if you are not using the service, you will not pay for the services. So instead of heavy investment on your hardware and your software, and cloud computing provides resources on cloud, right? And you can configure them as per need to deliver to your end users. So one thing is very clear. If you are using cloud computing, you can control your capital expenditures. You have not to purchase anything to serve the services to your clients. So if it is needed, you can use those resources and you will pay for the resources, right? Second is software upgrades. Yeah, this was really critical in physical data centers because you are the person, or you are the as a system administrator or data center administrator, you are fully responsible to update operating systems that existed in your own data centers, but the time has changed. So AWS is now offering a patch management capabilities. What it is offering? Patch management capability, PATCH, patch management capabilities, which are part of system manager. I'll explain you later technically, right? But if you want to update your operating system, so this is very easy on AWS. So with the patch management capabilities, you can automate your patching process. So it's very easy. Earlier, it was not so easy. So this feature saves your time and reduces the risk of non-compliance. As you know, the time to time, supplier of software, just like Microsoft and Red Hat Linux or SUSE Linux, they usually find vulnerabilities in their operating systems. And to fix those issues, they usually provide some packages and some add-ons, right? So it was really earlier very difficult, because in order to do patch management, you used to actually configure some servers at your end, just like WC server in Microsoft and repository server in case of Linux operating system. So it was really very complex task earlier. But these days, if you're using cloud computing, you have not to maintain, you have not to create any repository servers to update your operating system servers. So these patch management can be done by some services, just like we have in AWS. The service name is System Manager. So using a System Manager, you can easily upgrade your operating system, right? So we'll learn everything here. Next is stop guessing capacity. Okay, so what is a stop guessing capacity? So when you decide to run an application over the cloud, you design an infrastructure as per the need. And for that, you should know how many servers are required, how much the storage is required. So you do actually calculate everything before launching or before creating any infrastructure in your data centers earlier. But these days, at the time of designing, you right now you don't require. So I was saying that when you decide to run an application over the cloud, you design an infrastructure as per the need. And at the end of designing, you either end up sitting on expensive resources or dealing with limited capacity. But if you are working on cloud computing, you don't see the challenge, because the cloud computing allows you to tune infrastructure as per the requirement. And you can define minimum and maximum resources which can scale up and scale down in cloud computing in a few seconds or a few minutes. So it's up to you. So there is no need to purchase anything in advance right now in this AWS or in cloud computing. You can increase your infrastructure, you can decrease your infrastructure as per the need. I mean, the scale up and the scale down is very easy, or scale in and scale out is very easy, right? So earlier, and this feature is not easily available on your physical data center. In physical data center, you have to purchase in advance if you want to increase your resources. So that challenge we don't see in cloud computing, correct? Next is data accessibility. Okay, you're going to store, first of all, any amount of data of your company on cloud computing. Any amount means any amount. You can think about the amount of the data and you can upload the data, but you have to pay only for the used storages or the used storage amount. So data accessibility over the cloud is very easy. It's cheaper as compared to your physical data center, and it is highly available for business day on offline as well as over the cloud or over the internet. And this also is very secure if you're talking about the security, right? So if you're talking about the security, we have different options here to secure your data during the transit, means during the transit or when you store your data, when your data is at rest. So you can access your data stored over the cloud using internet connection from anywhere, number one. Number two, the cloud computing security feature is on high priority, as we know that, for cloud computing providers. And this includes the production of critical information from the data leakage, data deletion, and data theft. So we have a number of firewalls, we have number of filters, we have number of methods to encrypt your data while you just store your data over the cloud. So features like data encryption we have, so it is very critical also. So if you have some critical data and you want to encrypt it, definitely you can encrypt the data. So in a both state I'm talking about, while the data is in rest, or you are transferring the data from one location to another location over the internet or within the organization on cloud computing. So you can apply and you can save your data, right? So safely you can apply all such kind of encryption, and it is easy also, but you should have some proper knowledge about encryption, right? So next is, which is the most important, the term being used these days in your organization, data recovery, or sorry, disaster recovery. So disaster recovery. So the cloud disaster recovery is a kind of a method, or it's a kind of a strategy to take a backup of your cloud resources, including data, and later on it can be recovered, right? So these days, almost every company, they are just managing the data for the disaster recovery, infrastructure for the disaster recovery. So we have various methods in cloud computing to implement disaster recovery. So we will see how to implement disaster recovery using storages. So this provides a data recovery and a backup strategy, which is happened due to man-made or natural catastrophe, because you're going to face these kind of a problem because of any reason. So if you want to secure your data on a multiple location, yeah, that also is possible in cloud computing, but you have to definitely pay for the resources you are using over the cloud. So AWS provides the services which enables the fast recovery of your configured IT infrastructure and data, right? So data recovery is a kind of a method or the strategy. Almost every company is using this strategy. So we will learn that how data recovery or disaster recovery can be implemented. When I say the data recovery means once you store your data over the cloud, how to recover that data, that also is very important, right? I think you are just getting me what I'm teaching here. Is it clear, everyone? Right. Next is competitiveness. What is the competitiveness? Competitiveness is basically a kind of accessibility of compute resources or the resources over the cloud, so that you can easily create your infrastructure. You can easily use your features over the cloud. So when you run a business, you always focus on the goal of your project, or you can say the product of the business is an ultimate goal. Let's say if you're a pharmaceutical company, you will focus on your medicines. You will make or manufacture as much as possible medicines. Or if you are like a company who's making a shoe, so you will just focus on the number of quality shoes there. So the business houses needs to put all their efforts to maintain quality and a production number of the product. So this is the ultimate goal of every business. So AWS says, just focus on your product, just focus on your project, and do not put heavy efforts to manage IT infrastructure. So AWS says, okay, everything is okay. But if you're talking about the IT infrastructure, so we are just going to create an IT infrastructure for you. You just focus on your project. And we are providing that global infrastructure on entire globe. So this is your knowledge. Just put your knowledge of AWS and just precisely use that AWS global infrastructure that they are providing to you, right? So we'll see. So now on cloud, you do not require heavy lifting of racks, servers, and other resources. It is not required anymore. Okay, so you are not interested to create and manage your own data center because it was really expensive earlier. And infrastructure, software, and platform are just few clicks away now on cloud. So using cloud, it's very easy to create virtual machine. It's very easy to create database servers. It's very easy to create and manage services like the DNS service and some patch management services. So we have almost 170 services available on this platform. 170 services. So this is really very, very big number. And if you're talking about the major and minor services, the total number of services are more than 1,400. It's unbelievable. So I'll tell you what is the meaning of the service. Means one service, let's say I'm talking about one service related to EC2 instance, means you are using that service to create and manage service. So this service takes almost 4 to 5 classes to understand about one service. So if you need to understand about this particular service, so this way we have more than 170 services. So in brief, cloud computing allows even in small businesses to act like in a faster than the big and established competitors. Means anybody means even if you are just starting your project on cloud computing, you have not to purchase any physical data center. You have not to create any physical data center. You will just start using these resources that you create on AWS, right? And you can increase and decrease number of resources, number of machines, number of servers. So anything, but it depends on how much you can use it. So that's why I'm saying that. So it's very easy to create infrastructure over the cloud. So guys, I think this much of knowledge is sufficient to understand about the cloud, correct? And if you want, definitely I'll share this slide to you so that you would have some understanding about the benefits of cloud computing, correct?